And once again, we are live. And this is Beast Modern Air, the summer episode. Episode number, let's see, 18, I think. And it's June the 1st. In a way, the summer is officially getting started. It should officially get started, even here close to the North Pole. However, it's not. It's cold. This spring has been awful. Mostly raining and cold and windy. So, I don't know. Perhaps it means that the summer will be great. So, hoping that will be the case. Anyway, today, mainly about what digital literacy. Am I in the right hangout?
No.
No?
Completely gone.
I told you earlier.
That's the other one that was a half an hour earlier.
Oh man, I get that. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll agree on that. It's digital literacy, and it's kind of huge. So let's see what we can do about that. Anyway, I'm Nilo. Hello, folks. And that was my quick introduction. And Tina, you go next.
Okay, hello, I'm Tina. I'm from Finland. And in Finland, the school year ended last Saturday, so officially everybody's on holiday except for us workers who still have some 2 weeks until the holidays. So I'll be writing sort of midterm reports, and so not very nice thing. This.
So Tina, of course, you're not even teaching, huh? So.
No. Well, I'm at the moment I'm mostly teacher trainer. So, but I'm not training teachers either because they are happily spending their summer holidays out in the cold and stormy.
We got the same.
About +10 or something. Very windy, high winds.
It's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same here. Okay, we have Kim there, but I don't think he will be saying that much since he's biking somewhere. Not on his gold wing though, but on a bicycle, I believe. Or?
Traffic chaos.
Classic
complete
chaos.
He says complete chaos. Okay, mute yourself if it's complete chaos.
All over the place.
Oh well, he's got something really important to do. That is having dinner with his students, apparently. So what the heck? You are excused. United States, how are we doing? Bjorn, good to see you here.
Well, the eastern part's a little rainy, but we've had some really good weather recently, so I can't complain at all. We're doing well. A little worried after I kind of did that shot at your thing at the host that I wasn't going to get my introduction. But no, we still got students, and we got, I think, the teachers are going to be here to June 23rd, and the students until the 19th.
So what do you do when you're not hanging out, Bjorn?
What do I do with it? I'm twiddling my thumbs. No, we are, right now I've been doing a lot of things in preparation for collecting 500 Chromebooks. I'm so looking forward to that one, but they've been a good thing this year.
You're kind of a tech guy, huh? Tech pedagogy all in one, rolled in one?
I'm kind of the middleman between the integrationist and the desktop support person. So I'm the planning guy just for the high school.
All right, good. Let's move over to the higher education area. Hello, Elastai.
Hello there. I'll just show you where I am because if I just point this out the window, I don't know if you can see.
Very nice. It's sunshine, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Is this Sweden?
There you go.
Oh man.
So, yep.
Very nice.
Yep, Alistair Creelman. I work at Linnaeus University in the southeast of Sweden, and generally sort of, I'm not a techie at all. I basically monitor what's going on in ed tech. I comment, I blog, I write articles, I talk a lot at conferences and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and interesting talk. I'm quite involved in this discussion about digital literacy. I would like to say literacies.
Yeah, okay.
I can maybe kick off a little bit because it's not one literacy anymore. I also question whether it's necessary these days to say digital, because digital is part of the skills that we're talking about are generic skill. They are literacies where digital is part of it but not the entire. And I also want to get away from this idea of 21st century literacies, because what other century might we be in? We've had 50 years of it, so I mean, if anyone thinks they're still in the 20th century, really, it's it's a silly term. We are in the 21st century. It's a fact. Get used to it.
You are going full power already, Alistair.
Yeah, I know.
I guess since you said you got to leave a bit early, so what the heck? We just throw ourselves right into this.
Well, I wonder how long it's going to become we go from digital literacy, that everybody's going to be digitally literate, and then we're going to come back all around, and this is a conversation we started having before we went live, analog literacy.
Yeah,
it's going to be the next thing. We're going to come right back to it. We're going to have to teach kids how to read books.
I mean, seriously.
But if you look at
why is no one talking about analog literacy? I think I'm not kidding you guys.
Analog literacy.
Isn't that important? I mean, what?
Yeah, but it's about the same thing.
I'm not joking.
It's not a matter of analog or digital or whatever. It's the digital sphere is a very, you have to be aware, and it changes the literacy aspect. But your ability, Howard Rheingold is one of my an idol of mine. If you want to read some of his stuff, because he talks about crap detection and about the skill of attention. Attention is a skill that needs. He claims that attention is something we have to teach, because actually we're losing that ability because we're focusing so much on skimming and zapping and always jumping, that sort of ability to focus attention is something that we need to focus on focusing. Mm-hmm. And he writes and does a lot of good stuff on the net about that skill. We need to look a lot. If you look at these digital skills that we're talking about here, these literacies, they're not just digital. You've always needed to read, interpret, reinterpret, check your sources.
Yeah, sure.
You've always needed to think about how you represent yourself professionally, your image. It's just that now you've got that digital aspect that makes it so much more powerful. And just being able to tell the good stuff from the bad stuff, being able to analyze media and what's the purpose of this? Why is this article just here? What is the real message and who's behind it? You see an article on a news source. Who owns that news source? What's their agenda? What does the other side say? It's not just digital. It applies on paper or whatever, or radio or broadcast TV as well. But it's just so much bigger now.
Thank you so much, Alistair. You just killed this whole thing. You said it all. We don't have anything to add. We are done.
Okay, I have something to add.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, about to say.
Go for it.
Surprise. Okay, in Finland, in the new curriculum, we have this term called multi-literacy.
Yeah.
And it sort of combines the old literacy, which is reading and writing skills, to understanding pictures and different kind of skirts and videos, and also not just understanding, but also producing and making them and making multimedia and so on. So it's like a considered as as a basic skill these days, transversal skill. That is, that we talk about transversal skills, not 21st century skills. However, the 21st century is good because I think there are so many people who still live in the 1970s or 60s and just want to have that back in today. So they refuse to think that things have changed. So in that way, it's good to remind people that we are on the 21st century and not living the 60s or 70s anymore. But multiliteracy is the term we use here in Finland, and I think this is something Alistair referred to, as it's a big bunch of literacies.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad, Tina, we're not quite done yet. So thank you. But before you guys move too fast here, I had done some homework for once.
Okay.
Honest, I'd done some homework. And what I wanted to do to start with, which is already way too late. Thank you, Alistair and Tina. So that was reading a couple of lines from the Wired magazine. And Alistair pops up a site here, whatever, but I don't care about it right now because I want to read this stuff loud. And it says like this. How can I see it if I let's see here. This digital literacy isn't just about filling Silicon Valley jobs. It's about educators, policymakers, and parents understanding how to give the rising generations of digital natives the tools, the tools they need to define the future of technology for themselves. What do you say? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah, but I was thinking of sort of digital literacy as something as an ability to sort of always learn more. So so this is, if you are digital native or digital literate, or how do you say it? You are a person who can follow what's happening in the technology. You can choose the tools you like, as you said, and to make your future yourself, and you can you are not passive consumer,
right,
but an active chooser and user and learner. And that, I think, is at the core of digital literacy.
Yeah, taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think
as a modern citizen of the world. I was thinking still about these 21st century skills a bit. I guess there are, it's this, is it like 4 C's or whatever? I always forget them. It's like communication and collaboration and what? I guess there are 2 more of those, whatever. But I remember when I was talking with Will Richardson way back, like last year sometime, interviewing him. So he said something like he figured that these 21st century skills were not 21st century skills at all. They were like barely 20th century skills. And it's kind of cool. And I've been thinking about that quite a bit. And what he pointed at, if I remember correctly, was that he said he figures what really matters is connecting and computing, I think.
More C's. Their creativity.
Well, it just happens to be C's, but another set of C's, and just 2 of them. But at least the connectivity part, I think, is really, really essential. Yeah. What do you guys think?
That diagram that I stuck up on the link on the chat, I mean, it divides it up into meaning making, analyzing, persona, using, and decoding.
Whoa.
And there are lots of different subheadings in there. And as I said, they can apply equally to the analog world as to the digital, but the digital just gives it so many extra dimensions. But they are transversal skills, as you said, Tina. They are sort of, you know, we haven't invented a new skill here. It's just that the digital element has added much more to it. But there's nothing, in a way, there's nothing particularly new about any of these. We've always had them. It's just that they're raised to a new level. I think one thing that is important is up until recently, up until the net came along, we could be a little bit lazy because we had filters provided for us by publishers, broadcasters, and so on. We maybe naively trusted that the publishing companies and
the universities
and everyone, they would make sure that only the good stuff was published. So if something was published, we could trust it. If it was in the newspaper, we could trust it. If the TV company told us on the news, we trusted them. Now, when the world is all commercial and everything, we're not quite sure who's behind the message now, and that makes it more difficult. But also, that filter has almost disappeared, because in a world where everybody and anybody can publish, we have to do the filtering. And that's been the big difference. We can't just assume that we will be served with only the good stuff approved by those wise people in the publishing houses and in the universities. Now we have to assess everything ourselves, and we're all very, very bad at that. And again, this lovely term of Howard Rheingold's, we need to learn crap detection, because there is mountains out there. And you just have to go on to Facebook or Google Plus any day of the week, and you'll see sometimes very dangerous myths and legends being flung about and shared without anyone ever checking their sources and finding out, is this actually true or not? And it's frightening in some cases, because real misinformation is being sent out there. And you see a lot of political extremist groups manipulating social media by putting out stuff that people want to believe and then claiming it's true. And then once it gets a life of its own and everybody's retweeting it and sharing it, it suddenly becomes true. Until somebody somewhere says, wait a minute, this is a lie. And there have been several really serious ones in recent months that they've been deliberately planted. And there are organizations now that plant information to be taken up by social media.
Yeah, so-called trolls.
Not just the trolls, but I mean even more insidious. I mean, you have extreme political groups who will get a story about migrant workers, about beggars, or about and then blast this out as a truth. All the people who want to believe it will then spread it. It'll start getting retweeted. It'll go completely viral because it's what people want to hear, and therefore they have then made their case has suddenly been proven, and everyone's going about saying, "Oh, I saw that the other day. Oh, isn't that terrible?" You've said there have been some really grim stories. There was a case, was it somewhere, where there was a guy from a right-wing movement who stole something from a nursery school and then put it down in front of a beggar who was on the street, and then called the police saying the beggar had broken into the school and taken it.
I heard about that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got to be better at detecting this rubbish and actually exposing it. And it doesn't have to be so serious. It can be even little lies can become big ones, and we don't know who's telling the truth anymore. Who do you trust?
It's interesting, like what you were also saying. I think, Alistair, at least partly, that it doesn't even need to be those or it doesn't need to be only those really huge and awful things. It can be, well, I don't know, like daily, some things connected to whatever our daily lives that all of a sudden somehow are blown out of proportion. And since everyone is publishing this stuff to the world, pretty much, so like you said, it turns to kind of a truth, and that can be hard to tackle, I think.
But also the in a way good side of this is that in Finland there are quite a few incidents where politicians have shown their true sort of beliefs by getting into spreading these racist ideas or prejudiced ideas, because they have sort of get excited and then they realized maybe 15 minutes later, when the tweet has gone already and spread around, that they were sort of writing real rubbish and retweeting stupid things, and I think this is in a way it's interesting to see, because people are quite uncritical when they somehow feel that it's very intimate. It's more like, you know, talking to your friends and a small circle, which it seems a small circle, but of course there are thousands of people just not taking part but following, and immediately when you make a stupid remark or stupid tweet, so those start to spread around and they're ridiculed really badly. So it is interesting and but okay.
Like we are talking here, chatting here now, just a couple of friends, and you know.
Yeah.
No one is
and
listening.
The whole world
luckily.
is out there.
What's that, Alistair?
Listening, thousands of people
all
listening.
the thousands of people
listening,
right.
At the same time, we've got to get used to the idea that nobody really listens to you or reads you completely. Mm-hmm. People are zapping and multitasking and so on. And just as you said, I mean, what happened? I mean, we get worried because people take your remarks out of context.
Mm-hmm.
But, actually, we do all the time. You know, if there's anyone out there listening to this, I bet you're not just listening to this. I bet you're multitasking, aren't you? And you might have listened just now because I addressed you, but you're listening. You're coming in and out of this conversation. Right. I mean, I can't imagine that many people are sort of totally focused on this. And if I happen to say something a little bit surprising, suddenly you focus. You pick up a little quote.
Sure.
And you think, oh my God, he said that. And then you tweet it, and it goes crazy and everything.
Sure. Sure.
What I said earlier, and you haven't heard what I said. You just heard that little bit.
Yeah.
Not only that, you didn't remember it correctly. By the time you tweeted it, you'd misquoted me and out of context. And suddenly, I have been accused of saying something that I didn't say, that I didn't mean, that is completely out of context. Yeah. And that's the media environment we're in today. And our students, our pupils are also, it can lead to bullying, it can lead to, it's a powerful tool we're working with, and we don't quite, I think we need to be better equipped to understand the context we're working in. And it has wonderful positive possibilities, but as we know, there's a lot of negative sides. And this idea that when nobody is really listening is the problem, I think. Nobody is really reading you. They're interested in sound bites, the cool bits, the quotes. And, you know, nobody has read all the articles you've written before and all the groundwork you've done in the research. They just read that one sentence, picked it out and thought, wow, that was good. And you just, that's one of the things we have to be aware of, that nobody really has understood your context. even if you're a great big global organization.
But then the interesting side of this is that if you go back maybe 20, 30 years, then the idea when you studied at the university was to you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And when you go to the Laudato level in Finnish universities, they're called the deeper studies, when you go really deep. And when you start doing your PhD, you go even deeper. So it was like going deeper or higher or whatever. And today, I think the interesting things take place when things sort of overlap, and when things meet and are connected, and quite different areas of or faculties or connect and integrate and do things together and find new ways of thinking about things. So I think this is the sort of a change in thinking, which is more radical than many other things that are happening. Is that we're not going deeper anymore. The deeper is out, but the wider
yeah.
is in it. Yeah.
So we are just skimming the surface these days, huh?
No, it's not skimming surface. It's more like challenging the traditional sort of subject-based thinking. All the different subjects, all the faculties, they have their own way of thinking. They have their own vocabulary. They have their own language almost. And the deeper you go, the further you sort of distance yourself from other disciplines. So it's like the multidisciplinary thing is the one that creates something new. It's not like going deeper. It's creating new things and innovations and new ways of thinking of things. And it's like my good friend who is he's actually engineer or a professor at the technical university. So he's doing work together with the medical sort of medicine, and they are creating artificial eye, so that you can actually sort of start to see with the eye that is just technology, and you can connect neurons in the eye. So this kind of technology is being developed, sort of neurons to so when different disciplines meet, either of them could do it alone, not the medicine, not the technology part.
Makes me think, this digital literacies, or literacy, modern literacies, maybe we could call it, it's about learning to handle complexity. Because today it's we're dealing with the media environment we're living in is so complex. Handling that is a massive issue, and not just that, the interdisciplinary, the widening that you were talking about there, Tina. It's a much more complex world. It's not enough just to understand your little narrow field. You have to see how it fits into everything else. It's just like in the past we learned about famous kings and queens, or battles, or species of animals, and so on. Now we're talking about ecosystems, how history relates to modern day. We've widened the perspective so much, and handling that is a massive challenge.
So, how tightly are these modern literacies? Is this a new thing we're making up now, or what? Modern literacy sounds good. How tightly are they connected to the internet? Or talking about digital literacy, how tightly is that connected to the internet? Is there like digital literacy without the internet?
I think this sort of this development started when with internet, because you had access to all kinds of literacies. You had access to different disciplines, and so it was easy access and through connectivity. So when you were able to meet people representing different disciplines and so on. So this made it possible to realize that that new views and new things come from people and ideas that were thought to be from totally different areas when they meet and start to connect.
Yeah, the internet has widened it all. Sorry, Björn.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I got to go actually help people.
What? You helping people?
Yeah.
You're a strange guy.
I know.
What's your line of work, anyway?
Well, I mean, I think it's just another avenue. Like when the telephone came out, that was an avenue that opened up communications, and then there was a literacy around that. And go way back to mail, and so the internet just really opened up its own communicative avenue, and it opened it up so wide and so open that I think people were still learning how to use it to its best ability, and the collaboration that can go behind it.
So is the modern world so complex due to the non-linear nature of where we are today, or what? Was the old days, was it more linear all the way and easier to comprehend?
I think it has more to do with we're still learning how to use it and how it can be used. You look at all the new things that are coming out here, Google Hangouts and
Hangouts.
There's there's a new thing called Google Expeditions.
Expeditions, yeah, right. The 3D stuff. That's the 3D stuff, I think.
And again, those are things that are they're new. That's what, a week old. And it goes back to digital literacy. I don't think digital literacy is about knowing how to use these things. I think it's about being quickly adaptive to what is coming out or has just come out, and then also being able to come up with your own innovative ways to use the communication tools that are available to you. So I mean, I don't think digital literacy is probably any one thing anymore. I think it's still collaboration, but learning how to use the collaboration and
Alistair was talking about that while you were helping people. You really should have skipped that helping part. I mean.
Well, I got two counterparts, and both of them called out sick, so it's just me today.
Well, boy. So, what should we be doing about this whole thing in education then? Is it what Finland is doing right now that's the true path, or what? Tina, perhaps you should recap a bit about what Finland is doing, because it's interesting anyway, whether it's a true path or not.
I don't. Well, we are sort of. Of course, this won't happen in a night or in a day or by writing a new curriculum. So it's something that has to become a part of your school culture, the new way of doing things. But the idea is that we concentrate more on how than to what. So the contents, the information contents in subject contents in curriculum are not so important, or as important as how we do things, so that we learn the modern literacies
Right.
while learning.
Right.
So it's while learning, learn literacies, and that's more important than to learn the subject matter. So
modern literacy is copyright by
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I haven't heard
postmodern
that before,
literacy.
so it might work.
All right, but that's basically the idea, and also that one idea is to support multidisciplinary project work, so that becomes compulsory, if you say so.
Right.
Students, we say it in the way that students are obliged to have. So one multidisciplinary project, at least one a year, and it doesn't mean a project that one teacher sort of plans and carries out. It requires several teachers work together and several subjects to be integrated, and it should be at least several hours or several lessons, maybe 2 weeks or something like that minimum. So that kind of things are there, and they're written and they're required. They're not just optional things, they're required, and we hope that, of course, that when teachers they have to start to work together, they realize that actually they learn a lot, and it's much easier for them to work together than to do everything by themselves and feel sort of incompetent and troubled with the new things they don't really master. But when they have colleagues doing them together, and they have different strengths, and they combine their strengths, that it's easier to work that way. So this is something we're trying to do.
By the way, what about international work? Is that supposed to be part of those projects as well, or is it up to the schools the way what way they play?
Yeah, of course, it doesn't have to be involved in every project.
No,
but,
of course not.
But also in basic education, the students are obliged to have international partners during. So every student should be at least once take part in an international project during education, which means like e-twinning. It doesn't have to mean that they travel.
See the flag? Huh?
Yeah. Great, cool. But back to the thinking part. It's also we have these 7 transversal skills. I don't want to list them now because you have millions of these listings, as you said, the C's and things like that. But it starts from thinking skills and learning to learn. So learning to learn and thinking skills are from which it all starts from. Okay, sorry, Alastair, you have
Alastair's
to go.
got to split.
Keep going. I didn't want to disturb too much, but it's great fun. Have a nice summer and so on. But
have a great summer, Alastair. I hope you can be with us again then when we get started after the summer break.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Take care.
See you. Bye.
So that really killed the show, huh?
Yeah, he's cool. He's really cool.
For heaven's sake. Yeah, but Alastair is really great. Always got interesting stuff to interesting ideas and viewpoints that I never find on my own. It's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah.
And Bjorn is trying to help people again, I guess. Oh man, what a drag.
It's been an interesting listen. I've listened while I bike my way home
and we just barely hear Kim. Just very barely.
Yeah. I'm on the headset here, so they're vacuuming in my kitchen.
Yeah, I can see a lamp now in the.
So I'm home now.
You're heading to the dinner with the students. Is that it?
Yeah, in a bit.
In a bit, okay.
I'm picking up my clothes.
That's interesting.
You have definitely
changing your clothes.
Changing clothes, Kim, still?
Yep.
You've been doing two things at the same time.
Wait a minute. I leave for a quick second to answer a phone call, and it goes from e-twinning to Kim's changing his clothes again.
This is a very
We have
special
this
thing.
lively bunch.
This is a very special episode, I mean.
Yes.
Oh, huge.
I think we lost it.
So, are we completely off the tracks now, or is there possibly any way of getting back? Or are we completely lost by now?
I don't know.
Oh man, it's been a long spring semester for sure. I'm feeling that. I guess there are others that are feeling that as well.
Sure.
I think everybody's kind of waiting for summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I hope we do get something like summer. Here.
Summer.
I'm not quite sure when I'm looking through the window right now, but yeah, it'll get started when the schools end. Then school's out when the summer's in, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite rainy on Saturday when I was out with my motorcycle.
Raining there in the southern Sweden as well. Oh boy, oh boy, it's pouring. It's coming down by the bucket here.
Yes, it's well. It said it said that there will be coming these showers and rains from Atlantic over Scandinavia, one after another. It's just one day, a few hours of sunshine between, and then a new one comes. So
It's been like
that's
that.
our Scandinavian destiny.
Yeah, it's been like that for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, we're waiting for the real hot weathers come from Russia.
Yeah, come on, Russia, give us the heat.
Yeah,
Is that a proper
give
thing
us
to
the
say?
heat.
Is that a proper thing to
They're
say?
giving us some heat. Yeah.
There was something else actually. Trying desperately to get back to our topic. I have something on my mind still.
I'm just gonna go.
Give me a break. Give me a break. I gotta remember this thing.
Bye.
He's leaving. For heaven's sake! In the middle of the webcast, he just dropped dead. Oh man! Bye bye the United States. He got worried when I mentioned Russia, I guess.
Yeah, but probably this is the time when FBI starts to get interested in our show.
You know what? I think the spooks have been interested from the very beginning. So you can count on having the red flag up in many parts of the world by now. That's for sure. It doesn't matter what you say. I think it's inevitable. Yeah, I was thinking of. Hey, Tina, you are still here. I'm glad. Kim almost as well. I was still thinking about this computational thinking thingy, whatever it is. Of course.
I was thinking it's along the lines where that
Try to get the microphone a bit closer if you can, Kim. We can just barely hear you.
Is that close enough?
Are you eating it up now?
Linear thinking. We have a problem. How do we solve the problem? Get on to the next one. That's computational, and also how to not circle using your iteration.
Man, your microphone sucks, Kim.
You can go back and do stuff.
Your microphone sucks big time.
Apparently.
Yes, it's very difficult to. But it is about. Yeah, I think he's reading. Is he reading something that Wikipedia says about computational thinking, about linear thinking, and how to solve a problem through different linear phases? So one problem and then go to the further and so on, which is iteration. Did he talk about iteration too? Yeah. So that's part of it, sort of. But it doesn't have. So what that's an effective way of solving problems or making decisions. It's good for businesses and firms when they in their decision making.
Are you reading from Wikipedia now, or are you just taking it off the top of your head?
From the top of my head. But
well
it
done.
is, but not for. It's not for if you want to enhance sort of complex thinking, innovation, and new ideas. Then of course that's not the way to go on. Because then you need to brainstorm and need to do things that have never been done before, and not make compromises, but just so that's something. And I think that that decision making is I don't know if you should. I don't think that that's something you should be learning necessarily at school. I think it's more important that you learn innovation and creativity and
I really don't. This
complex thinking,
computational thinking thingy is a really hot topic now, it seems, at least in Sweden, I believe. And there is this professor at the university in Luleå, and he's really into that, and has lots of interesting stuff about that. Peter,
but
he should explain it to us a little bit. But I get this. Actually, I think it doesn't match the term at all. But I get these like programming vibes a little bit. But I don't think that's necessarily the case at all.
But it's got the idea of algorithms, which is algorithms make programs. When you put a computer program into pieces, it's constructed of algorithms, and those make the computational thinking when there are that you can sort of from A to B to C and so on. You can sort of program the thing going, and as I said, in decision making, in programming, it's good, but somehow the problem is that when these people, they get in they start to say that it's the only way of thinking to every possible problem in the world.
Are they saying that? I hope not.
Ridiculous. It's the only thing, and everybody. It's one of the literacies, and it's one of the basic literacies. Of course, perhaps it's one of the literacies, but not perhaps the basic ones, and just one, and we have 10 others. So it's I just feel that the sort of mathematical, logical thinking is of course at the back of programming and encoding, but it's not the only thing we need these days. I think
No, I don't think so either.
I think we need free thinking and new perspectives and very sort of open mind.
It could be that this computational thinking, or whatever it is, might add something to the mix we have since way back when.
I guess
it hasn't
anything can add.
It hasn't been there like way back when in the at least not in the compulsory education, I guess.
But it's not like it's again. It is only a tool. So it's it is a tool. So it's what it can do is interesting, and not itself as such.
Sure.
So it should be used also and considered as one tool among others, one literacy among others.
Makes sense to me.
And of course there too. I mean, it's not everybody has to learn to program, because
No, but I don't
think
think
there are those we need those people who have the ideas,
Sure.
and then there are those people who program the idea.
But I don't think that computational thinking means that everyone's got to learn to be a programmer.
Yeah, but in Finland they're starting to think that way, and we have also the new curriculum. Also, one more thing it includes is encoding and coding and programming.
Do you mean that in Finland, for example, there are those who think that computational thinking equals programming? I don't think it does.
Yeah, but in Finland we have programming and coding in our curriculum already, and it's compulsory from the preschool level.
Oh, that's pretty neat, I think.
Yeah. You can see how excited I am about it.
Absolutely. you
I'm
love
sparkling with excitement.
You love this engineering part, huh?
Yeah.
Like I said, our modern heroes, engineers.
Yeah, yes, the problem, it's not so for all those engineers who are listening to this, it's not that I have something against engineers as such, but as a pedagogue, I think when it comes to school, the pedagogical point is the primary one.
Absolutely.
And any sort of thing which is brought to school or induced to education has to have a pedagogical sort of meaning and sense, and way to sort of implement them pedagogically. And this is something that has not been really so developed when you think of programming and coding. It's just another sort of very mechanical skill they're learning.
So it's got to be a part of the pedagogical framework somehow.
Yes, and this is the thing. This is the thing. Yeah.
That is the thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good way to wrap things up.
And of course, what they do is that the students are making their own games, small games, and still I think that how long can you keep on making small games, and what's the meaning of those games? Is it sort of, it's not all about games, so it's much more things they could do with the net than make their own games, which are, what kind of games?
Games can be a matter of motivation, for one thing.
Yeah, but of course it's nice to make a game and where you try to jump over a cliff without falling, and then you do that 1,000,000 times again and again and again, and you learn so much from it.
Not, you mean?
Yeah.
Come on, there can be cool games.
Yeah, well, it's not just about being cool games. School games.
Useful games.
Yeah. But
pedagogical game.
Yeah. But we're far from that. We're far from that. So I the tools they're using, the apps they're using for teaching programming and encoding, they are just making not pedagogical games, but the sort of jumping labyrinthine games, choosing the right way and so not blowing up or meeting a monster or being ate by one. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing.
Shoot, I think I met the monster already, and that's the one that makes me kind of wiped out by now.
Yeah.
January.
Maybe
1.
we shall finish.
Yeah, it's about time.
Everybody's gone.
It's just you and me here anyway,
Yeah.
Hey Tina, what are we going to do about this thing in the like later on in the future, being after the summer.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking, really, turning this into a podcast as well, even though you never listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
But,
well, you can, for those who want to
yeah,
listen to them.
I think there are quite a few people that.
Yeah, I
do.
know. They're quite popular at.
Yeah,
at
it would be cool to reach some others as well.
audiences, yeah.
Yeah, and I think podcast is one way of doing it.
And of course, this is something that this is enjoyable to. This is for us to
absolutely,
learn
absolutely,
from each
absolutely.
other and talk about interesting things, and then if somebody else wants to listen, then of course it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really kind of funny in a way, or at least interesting the way it works. That it's really exactly the way you put it now. But I feel that this stuff what we're doing, meeting through Hangouts on Air, it's really, I'm doing it because it's fun to be here. And
right.
Talking about Hangouts on Air or YouTube in general, this kind of stuff, I hardly watch anything. Really, I mean, but I do listen to quite a bit. We are different, like you said. You're more of a visual person, but I listen to a heck of a lot. Podcasts and some of the educational, say, videos that are also available as podcasts. I pretty much always listen to the podcast and hardly ever watch the video because it's
of course you can do something else.
You got to focus so hard watching the video. So
you can do a lot of things while listening.
Be cool, and it's easy to, well, kind of. It's not, at least it's not very complicated making a podcast out of a Hangout on Air, which is really neat. Yeah. So we might do that. Let's find out something cool for the
September.
September. Yeah, September. Next episode in September, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Got a good theme there coming up?
No, yeah, you're good at themes.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Themes and tools.
Oh, man, don't get started with the tools.
No. Right. So.
That's about it.
Yeah, have a nice summer.
Have a great summer.
I suppose we meet at the Facebook or.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook now as well, so I'm back after after the hiatus of, I guess, at least 1.5 years or something, but I am back, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Have a great summer, everyone.
You
Not
too.
just you, Tina, but especially you.
Everybody. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah.